Hello, good day to you, me Andy here and Talkin Really. Here's one that you may be familiar with personally if you've got a blue badge over the years. Can't think that it's ever happened to me, but it may well have happened to you. The fact is that when you use your blue badge to park, that people who are not disabled abuse you verbally or whatever. And they try to claim that you're a fraud and you shouldn't be parked there, blah blah blah. Hello and welcome, it's me Andy and Talkin Really, and I want to introduce you to a new weekly live stream that I'm doing. It will be exclusively on Odyssey, Rumble and Twitter, so not on YouTube, unfortunately, because it's the nature of the subject material is talking about the Twitter feed. Every morning I go through it and see what's what, and some of the stories are quite interesting and you may be interested in seeing them yourself. If you've not got Twitter, then obviously these are public posts. These are not confidential, they're not hidden, they're publicly available, so anybody on Twitter can read them, and I thought I'd share them because I don't know anybody else that's doing that. And of course some of them you may have missed the stories, you may be interested in hearing about them, and of course we're going to do that in a live stream, so you can join me Odyssey, Rumble and Twitter Tuesday and Thursday at 10 AM UK time, and then later I'll be uploading the live stream video to BitChute and OurTube, both of which are not live. So please do join me and you can take part in the show. You can phone in, the number down below. You can also use the chat window and send me a message. So this story, I've only had it happen once where it wasn't me, it was actually a copper. They were parked in a disabled bay and they tried to claim that they were doing a call out. I said, well, if you're doing a call out, you know, why do you have to park in a disabled bay? Park on double yellows, in a loading bay, or in a taxi bay. Why is it always disabled bays? And they had no answer to that. Oh, well, I did report it. But yeah, so me personally, I've never had this, but there is a story in Disability News. So we're going to have a look at that and enjoy.
Disabled people with blue parking badges in England are frequently being threatened, insulted, followed, and even attacked as part of a never-ending ordeal, new research has revealed. The research found that nearly a third, 97, of the 304 disabled people who took part in a survey had been threatened, while 68 of them said they had been laughed at, 52 were photographed or filmed, 43 had been followed and 19 subjected to violence while using their blue badges. The most frequent negative encounters were staring, 80% of respondents, and intrusive questions, 63%, while the most common location was a supermarket car park. One disabled woman in her 60s with chronic illness, a mental health condition, and a mobility impairment described how a man shouted at her after she parked in a blue badge space at a Waitrose supermarket in the south of England. He shouted, "Why are you parking there? You're not disabled. There's nothing wrong with you. You're a scrounger." No one helped her, so she walked to the store and asked for help, while he continued to follow her, shouting abuse and calling her a fake and a scrounger, and refused to stop shouting even when a manager asked him to calm down. She said, "I'm normally independent and resilient, but this reduced me to tears and I couldn't stop shaking." Nearly all those who took part in the survey said they occasionally, 50%, or frequently, 41%, worried about such encounters, and more than half said these concerns stopped them going out, with 16% saying this happened frequently. The research was carried out by Vera Cubins, a disabled postgraduate researcher at the University of Birmingham, and is described in her report, The Politics of Parking, as part of an ongoing research project. She highlights in the report how disabled people who behave in incongruous ways by failing to match stereotypes of how a disabled person should look and behave are more likely to be subjected to these negative encounters. One young disabled woman, again with chronic illness, a mental health condition, and a mobility impairment, said, "If I'm using my walking stick on a given day, then I usually don't have a problem. But I don't always use my walking stick, because it causes pain in my arms, so I often don't look disabled. I've been stared at, tutted at, heard comments I couldn't make out the words of but were in a hostile tone of voice, and seen people trying to take photos or video of me who weren't being as subtle as they thought they were. It makes me afraid to use disabled spaces on days I don't look disabled, because I'm scared of other people's hostile behavior." The negative encounters that have the biggest impact happen most often to those who are further removed from the idea of a normal disabled person, says Cubins in her report. She says, gender and sexuality are frequently associated with negative encounters and impacts, suggesting that women and queer people are particularly affected by encounters. This is likely also the case for race, but less obvious due to the small sample size, which makes it more difficult to achieve statistically significant results. Cubins concludes in the report, "It is not just about looking the part, but about publicly enacting the inferior position disabled people have been assigned in an ableist society. Disabled people should not have new or expensive cars, wear nice clothes or makeup, have children, or be out at peak times. Disabled people should also be deferential and grateful in public spaces, even in the face of confrontation." The blue badge space, far from being an accessible space, thus turns into a microcosm of wider negative societal prejudices about disability. But she also points out that more than 2/3 of those surveyed, 69%, reported at least one positive encounter while using their parking badges, with the most common positive experience being small talk with other blue badge holders. She says that this solidarity from other holders of blue badges, and strangers, had a big positive impact for many participants. Cubins stresses that the survey was not carried out in a random way, and so those who took part cannot be considered representative of all blue badge holders. But she says the survey has gone some way in documenting the cumulative impact of this never-ending ordeal of hostility towards blue badge holders and the constant microaggressions of being interrogated, surveyed, and having unwanted help forced upon them. And she says it has highlighted the importance of solidarity and support by both other blue badge holders and bystanders in lessening the impact of this constant negativity.
So there you go, that's the story. Very interesting, and of course it's very sad that these people, these able-bodied bigots, who could be disabled themselves, it doesn't take much, they could find themselves with a disability and having to rely on getting a blue badge. And let me just say that I've just had to renew mine. They've sent me my renewal reminder, and it's only January, and mine runs out in April, so they're allowing that it takes 12 weeks to renew. Now, when you do that, you renew it online, or I did, and you have to provide evidence. So I've had to photocopy my PIP award with the points on it, so 12 points for a full house, and I've had to send that in with evidence of who I am, even though I've got one already and it's just a renewal. They want evidence of the award, which is ongoing, and there's no end date on it, so it is still valid. And of course I'm still waiting to hear if I've got it or not, because they could turn around and say, no, you don't have it. Of course that would be very annoying, and I would be finding parking very difficult. But there you go, so that's the story today. Hope it was useful, and don't forget, like, share and subscribe. Bye for now.